Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, April 19th, and I'm your host, Brian Boudreau, filling in for Krista McDonald. As residents around town enjoyed Patriots' Day off and students began their April vacation, Town Manager Tony Mizuko and the Norwood Civics class hosted a fundraiser to raise money for the various NHS civics clubs such as Student Council, Global Citizens Program, and the Model UN Club. Town employees, teachers, parents, and students all attended the breakfast fundraiser that was held at the Old Colonial Cafe.
We're here at the OCC for the Bring Home the Bacon for Civics event, and what we're trying to do is raise money for various civics groups at in the Norwood school system. So the Student Council, the civics class, the Global Citizen Program, the Model UN, and what we're really doing is raising money for civics. Civics is important. It teaches democracy, teaches citizenship, teaches how to be involved and engaged in the community. And the state of Massachusetts recently passed a law mandating a civics curriculum. Now Norwood was ahead of the curve with that, but we want to double up with that, and we want to work with that on making sure that we're doing everything we can do to support civics. So it's sort of a first of its kind civics boosters event.
Many high school students showed up to support the cause. They know that the money will go to help fund the clubs they love.
I think this is also good to have because next year there's a chance that we, if we don't have the override, we won't have any of these clubs. So I think it's good to promote the clubs and organizations at the high school now so that people will realize what they do.
We came today because supporting all these great causes, all these great clubs is so important because they're really kind of like the pride and joy of Norwood High School. They do so much for the students, and as VP of Model UN, it's such a great club to support.
NHS civics teacher Molly Uppenkamp was encouraged by the turnout at the fundraiser. Uppenkamp feels that a high school civics class is the last opportunity to teach children how to participate in politics.
So I think, school is the last time you really have every citizen in one place where you can teach them things. And once they graduate high school, they're all off doing their own thing. And if we don't take the time when students are in school to really teach them the importance of being involved in their community and how to work in government and participate in politics, then we'll never really get a chance to teach them that again.
The fundraiser raised just over $4,000. If you're driving around near Father Mack's Field and Playground, you may have seen a Little Free Library. Producer Megan Corbett was able to find out the scoop on what exactly is the Little Free Library.
In 2009, Todd H. Bohl created the first Little Free Library book exchange and placed it in his Hudson, Wisconsin front yard in tribute to his mother, who had been a teacher. 10 years later, his idea has snowballed into a worldwide book-sharing movement. Erin Kahn, steward of the Little Free Library at Father Mac, explains how she got started right here in Norwood.
It's part of a larger Little Free Library organization, which is it's actually now a global organization that they have the charters for each library, and you can do your own without the charter, or you can pay and they'll send you the library with the charter, so you can use that to find other Little Free Libraries in their network. And then each Little Free Library has a steward, so in this case it's me. I worked in partnership with the Norwood Recreation Department and the Moral Memorial Library to get this installed. The library put in the first stock of books, and then I helped to kind of keep the circulation moving and to keep it maintained and festive, and just to try and make sure that there's books in there that people will find fun and interesting.
Travis Farley, superintendent of the Recreation Department, gives Erin all the credit for getting this project started.
So Erin approached us about it. She did a lot of the homework, which was great. We were able to work with, like I said, the Moral Memorial Library to come up with the funding for it. We both just partnered on to pay for it, and then we were able to just install it on our end with the maintenance guys, so it just worked out really well, and we're very happy that we were able to install one at our 9 playgrounds in town.
Erin is always checking on the books and making sure there is a good rotation so the community has plenty of choices.
Ideally, it's just the community circulating the books, putting in ones that they loved, taking ones out. I come check it pretty regularly, and if I see that not many books are moving, I might use some from my own collection because I probably have a little too many. Or I go to thrift shops and find books for a little bit cheaper that I think people might be interested in.
Erin's passion for reading and Norwood's strong community is the reason she pursued the Little Free Library.
I guess it was partly that I love reading, and I love the idea of people in a community, in a neighborhood, coming together and having a common interest and something that can benefit the adults and children, everyone in the community. I think that the library actually is really great also because it's like a physical symbol of a community that likes engaging and reading, of course, but doing things together.
Erin encourages everyone to come down to Father Mac's and visit the free little library, where she hopes to spread her joy of reading with everyone.
I somewhat recently created the Facebook page for it so I could kind of get a better idea of, or more of a conversation going, better idea of if people are using it. So that's on Facebook, it's at Father Mac Books. And I have had a lot of interaction on the page, but I would love to see more conversation, more people sharing the interaction and the experience that they've had coming to the little library.
We come across them all the time at playgrounds. It's actually becoming very, very popular in Massachusetts. You see them, I go to playgrounds with my little ones and I see them everywhere you go, and it's a wonderful resource. You can literally just grab books out of the little library, you can sit down, you can read with your little ones at playgrounds. And we thought it was a wonderful thing. Erin had a great idea, and like I said, we were able to execute it.
Just not to be intimidated or afraid by it. I think some people maybe don't understand that there's no obligation here. You don't have to leave a book if you're going to take a book. You don't even have to return a book that you take. I mean, it would be nice to have circulation, but it's not like my personal books or anything. No one's going to be mad if you want to keep a book that you found. But just like, you know, come check it out and use it and keep coming back, because I think it's a really great resource. And also, because it's for the community, it's not just about the books, it's also kind of about stewardship. So I am sort of like officially the steward, but if the whole community and everyone that uses it could also chip in and little things like making sure the door is closed so the weather doesn't get in, not leaving food inside of it, just little things like that. That's also really helpful.
Stay tuned after this break to take a look at the Rec Department's most recent event and for this week's Living Local. Welcome back. Easter Sunday is almost upon us, and that means the Recreation Department's annual Easter egg hunt. Each year, the Recreation Department and the Willett School PTO team up and host an Easter egg hunt on the front lawn of the high school.
Today I'm at our annual Easter egg hunt. We do this every year. It's one of our bigger spring events. We partner with the Willett School PTA. This year we had more donations that we've ever had, so I wanted to thank the public for the amount of donations for candy and Easter eggs. It was awesome, a great event. We probably had about 250 families here today. One of the biggest events I've had during my time here in 5 years.
The large crowd of children was split up into two groups and then allowed to go hunting out on the field.
We had a Todd group that probably had about 150 to 175 people here which is great. It's usually the bigger group out of the two. And we had a K through 1 group, which is our older group. We only probably had about 50 to 75 people here for that.
Everyone there enjoyed the experience, and the children were happy to come away with lots of candy.
I got Skittles, Starburst, and some Kit Kats. I got Tootsie Rolls, Kit Kats, Milky Ways, and Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
I pretty much got every candy. I got Twix and Reese, Kit Kat, Sour Patch Kids, yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't get any candy. I only got chocolate.
Thanks to the Willett PTO and the Rec Department for putting on such a great event. And now, let's take a look at this week's Living Local.
We're an all-volunteer organization, a 501c3 and nonprofit. We established from the Women's Community Committee in 1925 with 10 women who really wanted to make Norwood a better place to live, to work, and to socialize in. We have all sorts of things. We have children's clothing and knickknacks and women's clothing, men's clothing, domestics, blankets, bedspreads, things like that. So, and our prices are incredibly reasonable. So if you come in and get a jersey or a sweater or a blouse, that's $4. A skirt is $3. A pair of pants is $4. A dress is between $7 and $12, depending on whether or not it's a summer dress, a fancy dress, a wedding dress, things like bridal. So we are incredibly well priced, and our quality is very, very good. We don't sell anything that is missing buttons or has stains. So if you would buy it, then we will sell it. You wouldn't want to wear something that's stained or ripped or is missing buttons. So therefore, that's what we do our best to sell. And we have such wonderful patrons. A lot of items come in with price tags on them that people have said, I'd rather donate it than return it. So we have a rack exclusively just for new items never been worn. We're in South Norwood, 1091 Washington Street, which is diagonally across from the Cafe Venice. And we're on the corner of Ula Avenue and Washington Street. And our hours for donations, Mondays and Wednesdays, 9 to 11. And our retail hours, Wednesday evenings, 6 to 8, Thursdays, 9:30 to 3, Saturdays, 9:30 to 12:30. And for any of our retail hours, we accept donations then as well.
Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your local government. Do you want to stay up to date with Norwood Community Media? Then subscribe to our weekly NCM newsletter. Every Friday, our promotions department publishes an online newsletter that highlights the work of NCM and the latest happenings. It includes the full episode of Norwood News, recent clips from NCM programs, behind-the-scenes photos, and so much more. NCM works hard to deliver a steady stream of Norwood content, and this newsletter is another way to stay connected to Norwood. To receive the newsletter, just visit www.norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Scroll to the bottom of the page, click the Sign Up for Our Newsletter button, and enter some basic information. You'll then be added to our newsletter mailing list. It's all here on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood. Welcome back to Norwood News. Tuesday, the Zoning Board of Appeals held multiple public hearings. Hearings included new construction and signage on Boston Providence Turnpike. An ongoing hearing that the committee closed that evening was the St. Catherine's Convent on Manhattan Street. After a minor modification, the final draft of the plans were put before the board for a vote.
So those were all made. The planning board approved it. And I'm now filing this plan with you and asking you to adopt this as the plan of record with respect to your decision, which has not yet been finalized or filed. So I would just ask for a vote, Mr. Chairman, accepting that as the plan of record.
Do I hear a motion
I'll make a motion.
to accept this as the plan of record by Mary Anderson? All those, all right, do I hear a second? Seconded by Mr. Riley. All those in favor? Opposed? There you have it.
ZBA's next meeting will be on April 30th. Also on Tuesday night, the town held one of two budget presentations to review the town's finances prior to town meeting. Tuesday night's presentation began with Town Manager Tony Mazzucco giving an overview of the budget and how the town generates its money. Later in the meeting, the town hall departments, fire, DPW, and airport budgets were all discussed and reviewed by the residents in attendance. The presentation continued on Thursday night with the Recreation, Police, Senior Center, Board of Health, Library, and Light departments all giving their presentations on their budgets. Superintendents and department heads took questions from the residents that were in attendance. The town will hold a capital improvement plan presentation on Monday, April 22nd, and a school department presentation on Wednesday, April 24th, both in the NHS auditorium. The Conservation Commission met this past Wednesday in room 12 of Town Hall. The first agenda item was Earth Day, and discussions ensued with the Trails Advisory Committee on collaboration efforts. There was some heated discussion over the ANRAD request for the Central Auto Team. Skepticism over the validity of the report ignited some choice words amongst the committee.
How about...
You had a date in the last meeting.
Well, no, I was just trying to get a full growing season, not the full on growing season, but wait for the growing season. How about we have Ramonda send a letter to Hancock, an email, whatever, to Hancock tomorrow, or call him, ask him, when can he go out, meet with him, they do their thing, and then...
I think the three of you should be ashamed of yourselves, but that's all I'm saying.
But see, I don't want to go
This
there.
is no place for that kind of talk. So,
Okay.
It's not,
I
okay,
stand by
guys,
that, Mr.
That's
guys.
enough, that's enough.
Like it'll, forget about it, that's just the way it is.
So-
That is my kind of talk, because that's what's happening here, Mr.
I'm
DeMaria.
sorry, did you recognize him?
I didn't recognize you either.
Okay.
So let's
Okay.
knock it off.
Yeah.
The next conservation meeting will be May 1st. The Finance Commission met in the NHS auditorium to approve recommendations to be made at the special town meeting, which will be held April 25th. All 21 articles were approved by the Finance Commission. Be sure to tune into NCM for full town meeting coverage in the coming weeks. The PBCC met Thursday night in room 11 of Town Hall to approve invoices and discuss the status of the St. Gabriel's Chapel renovation. The next PBCC meeting is set for May 9th. To watch complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break to find out what's happening in your schools. Welcome back. Now it's time for some school news. Not all the teams are out on the field this spring. One team meets in the classroom. Let's watch this profile of the Coakley Middle School math team.
The math team is a club here at the middle school. There's about 20 students in total. We get together once a week to do some fun math problems. There are very many different types of problems. And then we get to compete 5 times during the year. By compete, I mean we pick 10 starters, so it's like picking your 5 starters in basketball, and those 10 are our team players for that meet, so their scores count. Everyone gets to play, but their scores don't count if they're not picked for the team. The competition consists of 5 individual rounds where they're working on the problems individually, and 1 team round where all 10 players go into the same room and try to answer a group of questions. How it works is everyone arrives at the school and waits in the cafeteria. When the coaches have all set up, the kids who are competing go into the rooms, the competition rooms. And they are given 10 minutes to complete 3 problems individually, and they race to finish them. And when time's up, we have the very loud teacher who yells, "Time's up," and then the coaches collect the papers and we grade them. And we try to grade them as fast as possible so that they can see by the beginning of the next round how each school is doing. I think it makes them more creative math thinkers, and it makes them enjoy it more because they are urged to be creative. Whereas a lot of times in math, we are trying to teach them skills. We don't have as much time to let them be creative in their math thinking. So I think it helps them be creative problem solvers more than, say, just helps them in math class.
I think it's interesting. At 6th grade, I was looking for something like unique to do, and I thought this was pretty cool. And it gets your brain working. And I don't know, I feel it's kind of fun to solve like harder problems than in school. I made some other friends from different towns that I wouldn't have met without this, so it's pretty cool. I did math team because I liked the friendly competition element of math team. And also I thought it would help my scores at school.
One of the benefits of the competition is we do meet other schools and students from other schools, and they see them from year to year, so they feel like they know them a little bit. And the biggest advantage I see of this is that they realize they're not the only students who get excited by mathematics. It's not just the 20 kids who show up at math club at Norwood who are excited about math. They see 100 kids who are having a great time and just like them, really enjoying, problem solving and honing their math skills.
All right. Welcome in, everybody. This is the Sports Update. My name is Brian Dunn, and we got a little bit of a light week for you. It's able vacation for the athletes, so they get some practices in, but many teams had the week off from games. Before break got started, the boys lacrosse team played in an absolute thriller. Let's take it out to the field for the endgame drama. After a roaring fourth quarter comeback, Ashland was able to not only tie the game down 4 goals, but take the lead with minutes to go. It was crunch time, and senior midfielder Mark Dunn had the clutch sheet in this one. He ties the game to send it to overtime with this shot. And after some incredible defensive stops by the Mustangs in double overtime, they had an opening, and Dunny, as they like to call him, took over. Let's hear the thoughts on this moment.
All right, well, we give the ball to Harry. Ashland, they put it out of bounds off a quick reset. Time's running down. Jake's coming up. He goes to the left side, draws a double. I'm wide open up top, gives it to me. Tuck it low, easy money. We faced 2 really good teams before, Medfield, Holliston, and then we beat Ashland and we beat Bellingham. So this is really huge going in, to the after break, and then we'll have more games to come.
Baseball did play host this week for Game 2 of Norwood versus Avarian. After a 1-0 outing in their last time, Norwood found themselves down early in the affair. The last inning, the Mustangs were able to put some offense together as an RBI single put the Mustangs on the board. They would eventually fall to the Avarian Hawks 7-1. Girls lacrosse was also in action that same Friday. They did not share the same success as the boys lacrosse team did, as Ashland defeated them 14-8. Every year, the kickoff to April vacation starts with Marathon Monday. Around here, you either run or know someone that runs this infamous 26.2-mile race. You may not have noticed on the actual day a familiar face. That's because the Sunday before, Matt Brown, along with his racing partner and Boston firefighter Lucas Carr, had the incredible opportunity to run the race the day before. 26.2 miles later, the two of them head down Boylston Street and cross that finish line to a great crowd to see them finish. Once again, congratulations to Matt and Lucas on another great marathon year. And that's all I got for sports this week. We have a full slate of games next week, so stay tuned for scores and updates. You can head over to norwoodmustangs.com for updated scores, or follow NCM on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you, and we'll send it back to you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. On Saturday, April 27th, Castle Island Brewery is teaming up with 2 other local breweries, Night Shift Brewing of Everett and Widowmaker Brewing of Braintree, for their first ever Tri-Brewery Cup. The Tri-Brewery Cup is a homebrew competition where locals from the surrounding areas submit their home-brewed beer to be judged.
A lot of us in the industry sort of got our start homebrewing at home, so we wanted to kind of go back to our roots a little bit and allow local homebrewers to put their best foot forward, submit what they thought would be strong candidates in order to get chosen. So we sat around a table, tried, I believe, 25 different submissions, and then each brewery by the end had a choice that they wanted to recreate.
DeLuca explains that there is a lot of camaraderie between local craft beer breweries, and their goal is to involve the community the best they can.
The overall goal is to, I think, get people out to tap rooms, but to try these recipes that were developed by just guys and girls who are just brewing in their kitchen for fun.
There will be a lot going on at the Tri-Brew Cup other than just naming a homebrew champion.
It should be a pretty fun event. Not only will we be announcing the winner of the actual competition, but we'll also be debuting a collaboration between ourselves, Night Shift, and Widowmaker, which is a Belgian table beer. And it should be a lot of fun. I think you're going to get a lot of people that homebrew, that will have questions about homebrewing. I think it'll be pretty educational the brewers will be here, sort of in person, hanging out. And I think it would just be a fun day to kind of sort of look back and appreciate how a lot of us sort of got in the industry in the first place.
So, if craft beer is your thing and you are free on Saturday, April 27th, head down to Castle Island Brewery for the first ever Tri-Brew Cup. This Monday is Earth Day, and Progress Norwood, along with several local organizations, including Together Yes, the Morrill Memorial Library, and Norwood Recreation, is working hard to prepare for Norwood's Earth Day celebration on Sunday, April 28th. Some events taking place throughout the day include community cleanup, community yoga, and plogging, which is picking up trash while jogging. There will also be several recycling stations, a fix-it station, and music by the Unlikely Strummers. Tune into Norwood News in the coming weeks for the recap of the celebration. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.